Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Did you know that Vader ordered Tarkin to hunt him and kill him if he could? It is a super cool story that really does Vader justice in my opinion, showcasing his ruthlessness and just how cold he could be. Without further delay, let's get into the video. The events of this issue occur due to Tarkin being in Vader's debt. This is due to the previous arc in this comic series, which occurs some time ago, where Vader was pursuing a Jedi with the Inquisitors on Mon Cala, however left them at Tarkin's request to capture King Lee Char. The story picks up on Chandra's folly in the Outer Rim, with Tarkin narrating as the hunt is entering its 9th day. I began with 20 men, including myself, 8 remain. Considering the being they are hunting, this is better than Tarkin expected. He's interrupted by one of the remaining hunters he has, who has spotted their prey. Thunder cracks as Vader is standing atop a mountain, wearing the skin of a Valath, the planet's apex predator. The Valath skin has properties that would allow Vader to blend in with his surroundings, but he doesn't. He wants to be seen. Tarkin begins to explain through the narration how he approached the task of hunting his prey, beginning by creating the first and most essential weapon in his mind, a plan. Vader was able to make blasters useless with his lightsaber and his ability in the Force, so Tarkin provided his team with flame weapons and slug throwers. On the second day of the hunt, Vader was surrounded and attacked with the flamethrowers, to which he destroyed them, as well as 4 of Tarkin's team. Despite the loss, he had learnt something. Quick side note, this is a bit of a theme throughout the issue with Tarkin, and it reminds me a lot of Thrawn. Despite what may seem like quite an obvious loss, they still take what positives they can and see how they can exploit what they have learned. In this case, Tarkin has learned that Vader is not difficult to track. Due to the heavy weight of his armor, he leaves signs of his tracks. However, it seemed like Vader didn't care if he was tracked, as the only time Vader seems to be less of a machine and come to life is when he is taking a life. His connection to his lightsaber was obvious, and while he still possessed it, Tarkin's chances of a victory were next to impossible. An operation was undertaken on the 4th day of the hunt, costing him 6 men, however it was successful and Vader's lightsaber was taken. The Dark Lord was forced to adapt to a situation without his lightsaber, and it angered him. In most cases, prey acting on negative emotions would help the hunter, however Tarkin admits that Vader may be an exception to this. The Force is another strong ally of Vader's. He held it above any technological advances, for example the Death Star, saying its ability to destroy planets is insignificant next to the power of the Force. Tarkin had observed Vader preferring a kill up close and personal, however could do it from a distance too, by crushing windpipes, breaking bones, and pulling his victims' eyes from their heads. Tarkin sent several men to their deaths in order for him to understand the limits to Vader's ability with this strange magic, and how close one must be for them to be caught within his range. Thinking he had all the information he required, Tarkin believed the hunt would draw to a close soon. There was just one thing he hadn't accounted for, and that was what Vader would do to get his lightsaber back. He knew it mattered to him, with it being the only object he had seen him show any kinds of emotion towards. Vader would subconsciously touch it during his meetings with Palpatine. Whilst Tarkin and his remaining team would hunt Vader, he began to hunt them back, eager to be reunited with his saber. 2 of the team members were Chadra fan trackers, who could hear Vader's raspy breathing and locate his exact positioning before they entered the range of his Force abilities. However, this time, Vader has lured them to a position where his breathing echoes. Thus, they can't locate him. It is time to run. The hunters that Tarkin hired are amongst the best in the galaxy, but it doesn't matter. Vader is Vader, and he takes out 3 of them as they escape into the openness. They set up camp in the stormlands, as the remaining Chadra fan tracker, named Sissian, cannot hear Vader. It must be safe. Within a split second, Sissian is choking as the Dark Lord appears at their camp, and it suddenly dawns on Tarkin what Vader has just done. He has deactivated his breathing apparatus, something that Tarkin wasn't aware he could do. Vader is dying as he begins to kill the remaining hunters until he gets his lightsaber back. It's poetic in a way that as Vader retrieves his lightsaber, he begins to breathe again, roaring back to life as he dismembers the remaining men. Tarkin runs off further into the Stormlands, trying to stay outside Vader's range with the Force. There is no pace to Vader's pursuit of him, knowing that Tarkin will eventually tire and slow down, which I think is even more terrifying. Wishing to not prolong the inevitable, Tarkin drops to his knees, and in his narration, he illustrates Vader's feeling of victory, as he savours the moment he will kill him. All the whilst this is occurring, Tarkin has had this moment planned since the beginning of the hunt, as he studied the land thoroughly. Dropping to his knees was tactical, as they are currently in the Stormlands, and the higher you are, the more vulnerable to lightning attacks you are. A huge bolt of lightning hits Vader as he drops to the ground with smoke rising from his body. The electrical properties of his suit means that he can be quite vulnerable to attacks of this nature. Recognizing that the hunt is at an end, Tarkin calls a ship to their position to pick them up. His narration continues by explaining what I stated at the beginning of this video to give you, the viewer, some context. Reading this in real time, this is the point where it all begins to come together, as Tarkin explains this undertaking was because he owed Vader a debt for what transpired some time ago on Mon Cala. He could not, however, imagine what Vader would ask of him, as he had learned of Tarkin's savagery in his youth, and the skills he had acquired that would prove useful in a situation such as this. He has his theories as to why Vader had requested to be hunted. As he was Palpatine's hunter, and due to the success of the Inquisitorius led by the Dark Lord against the remaining Jedi, it had left him with nobody to kill. There was never any context provided to the request, just the request itself. Kill me, if you can. Tarkin believed Vader simply wanted to see if he could still be challenged or even beaten in a galaxy seemingly lacking of Jedi. He had worked his way through many different strategies, coming to the simple conclusion of Vader believing he can never lose, thus using this against him. Vader isn't done yet though, as his fingers twitch and he begins to choke Tarkin as the realization hits him like a brick wall. Vader doesn't believe he has lost. Dropping to his knees as the life begins to leave his body, he is released. Vader didn't want to kill him, as he was a favourite of Palpatine's. He just wanted to let him know that he still could, if he wanted to. Tarkin admires his immense willpower and strength, as he can't help but be thankful at how lucky the Empire is to have Vader be so devoted in his service to it and his master. This was an absolutely amazing issue, showcasing the monster that is Vader. A couple of my favourite parts was Vader deactivating his breathing apparatus to get close to Tarkin's camp undetected, as well as him at the end, even after having been struck by lightning and seemingly incapacitated, still possessing the strength to choke Tarkin, letting him know that he hadn't lost. Let me know what your favourite moment was down in the comments below. The next video will most likely be a longer one, but is one of my favourite Vader moments, especially in the comics, so I hope you guys will enjoy that one. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Always.